Greetings. Just here enjoying a beautiful morning in the Cascades of Oregon. Just finished loading up, getting ready to head on out and back on the road. But we're here at a funny campsite. Was looking for a place on the map called Cedar Springs Forest Camp. And I couldn't seem to find it. I drove around the roads that it's supposed to be on. It's supposed to be over here in the trees on the other side of that gravel road there. But in searching for it, I ended up finding this little spot where there's one little fire ring and a picnic table and a little outhouse. And I'll tell you, not only are there no ants right here because it's so cold this morning down in the freezing temps, but this is the first time I've ever camped at an airport. I don't know if this is the actual forest camp, but this is most definitely the Toketee Airport or Toketee Airstrip, depending on how you want to call it. We'll see what the sign says officially here. Ignore the outhouse, it's a horror show. I'm going to try not to show it to you. It's been completely trashed and destroyed, and we don't want to even look at it. However, right next to this little camp, and it was a quiet camp. Finally, after weeks of non-stop noise in campgrounds, finally a quiet night. I could actually hear my heartbeat in my ears. It was so quiet. But out here, past this little madrone, an area closed to motorized vehicles, because it's the airstrip. And it tells us all about it right here. Toketee State Airport. Look at that. We got a 5,350-foot runway. That's more than a mile. And there it is. And it's fascinating out here. I had no idea that any of this was out here. I was just looking for a forest camp, a free place to camp for the night as I'm out here on the road. And sure enough, there's a mile-long airfield. You can see over here, there's this huge roller. I don't know if you can actually see it out there. Where's my finger? Can't even see the screen. Sun's just coming up. It was a frigid morning though. Down into the 30s for sure, and there was frost all over here. You can see it's just starting to melt off of these tires. But it's really interesting to be out here in the middle of nowhere, and suddenly there's an airport. And like I said, I've never actually camped at an airport before. I don't know if you've ever done that either. The closest thing I can think of would be, like RV parks or something near airports, like in the town of Gold Beach out on the coast. There's an RV park right next to the airport. However, RVing is not really camping. It's not quite the same thing. This is camping. But you can see it's frosty for sure. Chilly, chilly, chilly. But there's a whole mile of runway out there. It's amazing. Thought I saw some deer earlier this morning grazing out there. The sun's just rising, and there's a little bit of snow up on the mountain up there. Little robins poking around. Hey guys, or ladies. And over there's a big yellow tarp X at the runway end here. And one interesting thing is there are turkey feathers everywhere, not only in the camp, but spread out all over there and all over the place. And I did see a couple of good-sized toms yesterday when I was looking for the forest camp. Get 3 or 4 feet tall. And very little traffic out here. It was a Sunday. Today's Monday, but still very little traffic. The only thing is you're really close to, I think it's called Watson Creek Falls or Watson Falls, and of course the highway right here between Roseburg and Highway 97. And you can kind of hear the din of the highway in the distance. It sort of sounds like water rushing by, but that's about it. It's way better than places that I've been, like, Harris Beach State Park. Oh, it's just a din of traffic noise and people noise and barking dogs and blasting stereos. And you'd think that camping next to an airport would be super noisy, but out here is the quietest night I've had in weeks and weeks and weeks. Even all the way up, as far up as you can drive up the Rogue River from Gold Beach. Little place called Foster Bar. Still, it's a commercial boat launch, so it's extremely noisy all day long. Not here. It's actually stunningly quiet. I really, really enjoy it. I just thought it was very interesting to be camping next to an airport and yet had the quietest night in a long time. And I wasn't going to do a video because the ants aren't out yet. It's too cold. I guess got to get moving on. I already threw my back out this morning just loading up, and so I'm in a lot of pain. But still, something tickled my brain saying, you're camping next to an airport and yet it's a super quiet experience. That's just so strange. But of course, it's a very remote airstrip out in the middle of nowhere, basically, out near Toketee Lake, I believe it's called, a reservoir. I've been to a lot of different lakes and reservoirs over the years here in Oregon. I start remembering which one is which, or forgetting which one is which. Like Lake Abert. I kept calling it Abert Lake. It's Lake Abert. You got to get that right. Or where I'll be heading soon, the Chihuahuan River. And I didn't know how to pronounce it. I kept saying Chihuahuan, I don't know, but it's Chihuahuan. Or the campground I was at the night before last, Quosatana. How do you pronounce that? Well, if you don't know, you don't know. You kind of tend to not want to say Satan in it, but that's how it's pronounced. The hosts call it Q Camp. I just call it The Q. $20 a night for blasting stereos, barking dogs, and non-stop running generators. And no cell service. Strangely, here I have full data. So I was surfing the internet, doing stuff, checking on comments on the channel. But anyway, I just thought I'd take a quick look here and show you one of the quietest places I've camped in a long time, right next to the airport. Out here at the Toketee Airport, Toketee State Airport. Out here in the Cascades of Oregon. I think it's time to get back warmed up here. Whew, it's still really chilly. Get on the road, on to the next adventure. And earlier there were ants all over the ground, but it's just so cold this morning they're not here. But I guarantee there are ants. I promise you there are ants. So as always, there are ants here. But I want to thank you very much for joining me and the ants, and therefore us, to take a quick look around the forest camp at the Toketee State Airport here in the Cascades of Oregon. One of the quietest nights I've had in a long time.